What's up, y'all? Welcome to We're Married. What now?
Episode 4, Night Edition.
Dude, you read my mind. I was gonna say something about the Dark Edition. Marriage. After Dark Edition. Katie and I, that's us. We want to start doing 2 episodes per week. You can expect an episode Thursday, which is today when you're watching this, and then Monday. That's kind of our plan for now. We went over chapter 3 in the 5 Love Languages book. We just finished reading it right before we filmed this. We read it to get out loud together. I kind of like our little new strategy. It's like I read a part, then she reads a part, then I read a part, and we read it out loud. The chapter discussed the euphoric feeling of being in love, and then it kind of just went over that, and it talked about, how long does that last? What does it look like after? A lot of research has shown that euphoric in love feeling, where it's all you can think about, it's all you feel, you don't hear any advice, you're so in love with that person. How long does that last? Research shows it lasts about 2 years. So I went over a lot about that, and then in the next chapter it talked about what to do when that ends, because it eventually will end, that euphoria that you feel, and it'll kind of shift into something else. And he was talking about what happens next and what do most people do.
So he kind of gave the main 2 options. He said past generations, they would just stay together and suffer. And the more recent generations now are just leaving. So that's what's increasing the divorce rate.
Yeah, they're leaving and they're trying to find something new. And he talked about statistics. Obviously, we know at least 50% of all marriage end in divorce. Then he talked about second marriage statistics. The divorce rate is even higher. And then third marriage statistic, the divorce rate is even higher than that. So people thinking that, they're out of love with this person, I'm just going to go find somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work out that way either.
So those were the main 2 that he had spoke about. And then he said about the third one, which is choosing love.
What if there's a third option?
Saying that it's an action.
You're telling me there's a chance.
But I did want to read this part in the book that I felt kind of grasped the whole chapter. It was the meat of the chapter, along with now we know that chapter 4 is going to be talking about the first love language. So this is our last kind of introductory chapter. It said, how do we meet each other's deep emotional need to feel loved? If we can learn that and choose to do it, then the love we share will be exciting beyond anything we've ever felt when we were infatuated. So I think that's what we're going to learn for this book, and I think that's really exciting. I was when I read that sentence, that is exactly, what we're looking for. And so I'm excited to learn with you guys in this book about how can we prevent that and how can we better serve our spouse to make sure that that doesn't happen, that we don't feel like we're suffering, we don't want to leave, but we're choosing love.
And I think she's right, and choosing love is an important piece right there. Or the key words is choose love, right? And it talks more into detail about it in the chapter, and I'm sure, and his whole point being is probably finding out what your spouse's love language are, and so how you can fill their emotional tank. We were talking about that a lot in last episode, putting diesel in the Camry. What I'm going to talk about right now is choosing love. I relate it to working out because that's just something that we do a lot. It's something I'm familiar with. It's making the tough choices, right? Because I've just turned 28. I've been working out since I was about 17, 18, 19. So almost a decade of working out. So it's always still a choice. It never gets easier. You think just because I work out for a year straight and I do my best and I do everything in my power to make that year the best fitness year of my life, that next year, it's all erased. It doesn't matter. It really every day it's all erased. You have to be consistent. You have to continue to make the tough choice. Hey, am I going to eat this ice cream, or am I going to eat this chicken breast? Or, am I going to go to the gym today? Or, hey, is there a cool show on, or is it cold outside, or is it raining? So I'll skip the gym today. Just because you give it your all for that short period of time, it doesn't matter. That goes away, and you have to start over again because you have to make it's daily choices, what I'm getting at. So I feel like it's going to be the same thing with marriage. Just because me and Katie are married now, and I gave it my all to win her over as my bride and propose and get her to marry me, okay, that's all great, but that starting today in this moment, it doesn't matter anymore. I have to continue to make the tough choices, continue to do things to make her happy, continue to sacrifice for my wife, another person, so that our marriage lasts for a long time. There's always going to be tough choices and sacrifices to make, and it's going to be hard, if you will, and it's going to be for a long time. But that's what I chose to commit to. The point I'm trying to make is choosing to make the tough choices and choosing to make them consistently and over time is, I feel like, the key to success. With us, you're talking about working out our marriage, and that's what I think he was getting at in the chapter. Choosing love instead of being in love and feeling euphoric about it. Choosing to do the things that it takes to stay in love. And I honestly believe you can reignite the euphoria by choosing to be in love. That in love, where nothing matters, may wear off, but I feel like you could spark it back on by making choices, and you could choose to still act that way. Even if because me and Katie now, we've been together 4 years. Our 2 years has passed, obviously, and I know we're newlyweds, but I feel like we still get that euphoria.
So right now we're going to wrap up the chapter discussion, and we kind of want to talk about something that was on our hearts about this video. So a lot of you guys know us, but maybe you don't know how Josh and I got here. So as Josh said, we've been together. We would have been dating at the end of this month, like in about 2 weeks, for 4 years. But Josh and I both didn't start our relationship in church. As we grew up, my parents brought me to church all the time. But as I got older, I drifted away a little bit. And Josh the same. He was in and out of church.
Same thing for me. Grew up in church. Parents brought me. As I got older, I could make my own choices.
So kind of
going to church.
Yeah, drifted away.
Questioned a lot of things.
But then whenever we started dating, we decided that we kind of I wanted to get back into church.
And I was open-minded.
Yes.
I still hadn't made my mind up. I had my own beliefs. I had faith per se, but it wasn't like I wasn't into God. I wasn't into religion. I was open-minded to see, and so I did go to church with Katie.
So we started going to church together.
We're going to Crossroads, right?
We're going to Crossroads. We moved to the other side of town. We're right across the street pretty much from OSC.
We started going to Our Savior's Church on East Broussard in Lafayette.
At the time, I still felt like we were both a little bit, skeptical about it.
Well, yeah, it was like our relationship with God was progressing, right?
And that timing, just starting to get back into church.
Yeah, because it takes time. And that's what I think she's trying to make too, is it takes time, and that was our journey, our walk, right? Because it wasn't just 4 years ago when we started going back, we were at the place we are now, right? Yeah. It took time to build to where we are now. So when you hear us talking about things, and when you hear us in later videos, I know that this is episode 4, episode 100 is going to look a lot different than episode 4. Right? Because it's all in our journey. So wherever you are and starting your journey with watching these videos, it doesn't matter if you're past us, at the same level as us, starting before us, just getting into church, never been to church. But none of that matters because it's all in your journey. So I think what we're trying to say tonight is that to give you a little background on our story of how we came to get where we are now. This has been a 4-year walk with God, and then over these past 2 years since we started to go to Our Savior's Church, even more, what would you say,
I just feel like it hit us both around the same time, that we weren't necessarily looking for a religion or wanting to have what denomination are you type thing. It wasn't anything like that. It was I think it finally hit us that, we're just trying to have a relationship with God. We don't care about what religion you are. We don't care about what religion we are. We just know that we are serving a mighty God, and we're all serving the same God. And for us to have that relationship with Him, it makes a world of a difference for us, because I think it completely changed our way of thinking of what going to church is.
That's what was big for me too, is more of a relationship and not a rule book. I think I'm a rule breaker. Not on purpose. It's just usually if I don't agree with rules, I question a lot of things. And I question a lot of rules, that especially long-standing ones, and I tend to break them. That's just kind of how I am. A lot of religion was tough for me because I felt like I perceived it as, you can do this, you can't do this, you can do this, you can't do that. And it was very strict, and you got to be ruled. And what I was missing was the relationship, right? And that's what's key to me and to Katie,
absolutely,
is that relationship. So we just felt like we should speak about that.
Just so you guys know that, we just didn't get married, and
we didn't just start here. Yeah, even before our marriage, we did a lot of work to get here. A lot of personal development, inside and outside of the church, a lot of books
and mentors
you know,
just
before
like,
this day.
And wanting. I think you can go through all of that, but if you don't want a good marriage, or if you don't want your marriage to succeed, then it's not going to. Like for me, like I don't know why. I think I've told Josh that, like, I know God has put a fire in both of our hearts about marriage. I don't know what it's going to lead to. I don't know what God has in store for us, but I know that we both have just a fire that God has put under us about marriage and about helping our marriage succeed, maybe encouraging other marriages to succeed and to get stronger. I know that that's what, you know.
Just being a good example.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's why we started this show. We have people that look at us, maybe look up to us, certain people. We both have younger siblings. That's important to us. So we just want to set a good example. And we also, I mean, we want to reach people, you know, we want to touch people. That's part of why we just felt the need to just share a little bit about our background tonight. We'll share more as the episodes go along. But yeah, we just wanted y'all to know we didn't start here. It's been a lot of work.
And we're definitely not where we want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're learning and growing and hopefully growing with you guys.
And like Katie said, being open-minded and being willing to learn and willing to want to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be willing to want to do these kind of things together. And that just doesn't happen out of nowhere. You know, it started with us by talking about it, right? It wasn't just one day she brought home this book and said, hey, Josh, I want to start working on this together. And let's even film it and go through it together and make a video about it. It didn't start that way. If she would have brought home that book, 4 years ago and told me, hey, let's do a love languages book and figure out how to love each other deeply. I would have probably been like...
He would have jumped in his Monte Carlo and left me.
Yes. Accurate. I would probably be like, please leave me alone. You're very nice.
Step away from the rims.
Yeah, I'm moving. Leave the rims out of this. It takes time, so don't get frustrated. If you are wanting to do something and your spouse isn't, or y'all aren't on the same page per se, it takes time. Communicate. You have to talk to each other, and you have to explain to each other why it's important that you want to do it. Don't just say, don't throw a book on the table and be like, hey, we're doing this tonight, because if you don't love me, then you can get out. You should say, like, hey, Susie Smith, I heard about this book that I would like to work on with you. It's really important to me because you're important to me, and I want to become better so I could serve you as my girlfriend or my fiance or my wife better, and I think it could strengthen our relationship. Would that be something you'd ever be interested in doing? Just communicate with each other, and that's what. Anyways, to wrap all this up, long story short, it's long story long. What all this started was with me and Katie from the beginning, is we had experienced different things in our lives, and we knew from the very beginning what was really important was communication. We didn't know all of what that would mean when we clarified that in the beginning of our relationship, but we always made sure to communicate with each other. And having that open communication and talking and giving your true honest feelings, even if it's uncomfortable or embarrassing for you, you have to start there and you have to continue there. It is, I could see how, and we've only been married 2 months today. But
Happy anniversary!
Oh, God.
Just step in.
I will.
We know. In quote. I can't wait for you to watch this.
Go.